Is the Delta Force console version the new kid on the block of FPS games? Can it overcome giants like Call of Duty or Battlefield? Is Delta Force worth playing, or is it just another first-person shooter game that has no potential? Stay tuned, because in today's video that is exactly what I will be discussing. Delta Force has been released on console for the first time ever on the 19th of August this year. I think that Delta Force was initially released for PC only in 1999. I'm not sure of this fact exactly, so don't be upset if I get some facts wrong. I've only seen it on console very recently, and I started playing it for the first time 3 days ago. I have been playing Delta Force over the past 3 days, and I can honestly say it's been a blast. Regardless of the first impressions I had, which I will mention shortly, I haven't had this much fun playing a game in a long time. Delta Force only has a 3.17 rating from 28,000 people. I'm actually quite surprised it's that low given what my experience has been so far. I would rate it at least 4.5. I think, however, that rating is mainly coming from PC and mobile players, since it's only been released very recently on console. My very first impression as soon as I saw the menu and main page was that it looks exactly like Battlefield 2042, which is a game I didn't enjoy playing that much. I also thought that the mix of using L1, R1 and L2, R2 to switch between menu options was annoying and confusing. Unfortunately, it's the same with Delta Force. It takes some time getting used to, and I still mess it up. Delta Force has 3 main game modes: Warfare, Operations and Black Hawk Down. My first gameplay and fight experience were Warfare mode, where you play against people online. While playing, I wasn't sure whether you face a mix of real players and AI bots. My guess was that there is, because some players had green icons above their heads and some blue. I only later figured out that the blue markers were my teammates. And according to a Google search I did, Delta Force only makes you face real players, no bots. It focuses on skill-based matchmaking to select your opponents. This already gets a bonus point from me. In Battlefield 2042, they added AI bots with real players, and the bots felt very overpowered and out of balance to me. It's something I didn't like about Battlefield. During my initial start, the game mode seemed much like Battlefield with its attack and defend mode. But as soon as the mission started, Delta Force was its own unique game. No more reminders of Battlefield 2042. It had a balance of strategy and chaos that gave a real feel to warfare, where if you had less experienced players like myself, your team could still win based on good strategy. It reminded me of war games like Conflict Desert Storm, which I played on my PlayStation 2, a game that I absolutely loved. Delta Force feels like you're in a war, a real one. What makes it so good to play is that the maps are large. They have almost an unlimited number of routes to take. The map actually looks like a war zone. It's unpredictable. As a new player, I also managed to get a good number of eliminations per game. Not great numbers by any means, but I got 40 plus eliminations sometimes. You get multiple different weapons, and playing with them you feel the difference between each. Just have a listen to this. No weapon is overpowered compared to another. It's just the handling and control where there are plenty of differences. I'm not saying all weapons have the exact same power, but no weapon stands out so much that everyone is forced to use the same one to stand a chance. What I also like about Delta Force is that you get different player types such as Assault, Engineer, Support and Recon. Once you play each player type, you can feel there is a noticeable difference between each. So it's up to your playstyle to decide which one you want to use. Each character has different mechanics and skills. One can slide, one can do a roll and the others can't. But they have different skills others don't have. Running speed and maneuvering is also good. Fast enough to get you out of trouble, but not so fast where it is unfair or Superman-like. Different players also have different roles in the team. For example, support isn't just healing and ammunition, but they can request airstrikes where an area is taken by an enemy. Although Battlefield has the same player types, I felt no real difference between using any of them. Now this isn't a comparison video, I'm just using the references I have to understand whether or not Delta Force is a good game. I also want to talk about the mechanics of the game. At some point I went into the settings to see if it had something like aim assist, and I was surprised that it did and that mine was actually switched on. I was surprised because you could barely feel it working, but somehow this is actually awesome. You wouldn't think that it works, but it does. It makes shooting down an enemy not so easy and getting shot down not so easy either. After playing for a while you do notice it working, but it isn't overpowered and it's very consistent. Not once did I think this game is unfair. It also takes a good amount of bullets to get it down. It makes it very realistic and fun to play. They definitely got the aim assist spot on. Warfare has two modes, Attack and Defend and King of the Hill. My favorite and the one I played the most was King of the Hill, where the goal is to capture and keep as many areas as possible. Attack and Defend is where each team gets a chance to attack and defend. Attackers must try to capture successive areas and deplete the enemy's resources before running out of reinforcements. Defenders must defend these areas and stop the enemy from depleting their resources. Defenders have unlimited reinforcements. I also want to mention something I noticed while playing that I think is a very good thing. It takes time for you to be able to get a vehicle or a bomb drop. If you don't perform well, you can't just call up a heli and destroy people. You have to work for these advantages and gain enough XP. I want to mention a few drawbacks. Maps and game modes are limited. I'm not sure if the devs are planning to add more maps as time goes on, but I get a sense that they will. I saw that they had a live stream recently, which makes me think they do care about player experience. Although the maps and game modes are limited, it doesn't make for a boring experience at all. Every time you play it feels different and you discover new rooms and new routes or something you haven't noticed before. If you think I had good things to say about Warfare, wait till you hear my opinions on Operations. War doesn't get much better than Operations. It's the real deal. Do you want to feel like a Navy SEAL before heading out on a mission? Operations is for you. You have to select what equipment, weapons, ammo, medics, etc. you need for your mission. The best way I can describe Operations is it's like having a career mode. You start with basic weapons, ammo and gear. By successfully completing a mission, you get to take what you looted during the mission back with you. If you found more ammo or weapons, you can add it to your stash for your future missions. If you fail a mission though, you lose everything. It doesn't get more real than that. Talking about real, during a mission if you took some shots, you need to wrap bandage around the wound or use a surgical kit if the damage was severe. You then have to use injections or antibiotics to get your health back up. If you don't have these items with you, you are in deep trouble. Operations is very real. You have to be aware of many things at the same time. But even though it sounds like a lot, I never once felt that they made it overcomplicated. You just have to keep an eye on things and the game will help you use what you need. It takes a while to learn all of these things, but Delta Force doesn't make it very hard. It just takes time. Operations mode also has a ranking system involved once you get above level 8. It uses a different ranking system than Warfare. In Operations, you level up by earning merit points. Ranking up depends on a combination of surviving missions, extracting valuable loot, eliminating other players, and completing mission objectives. You also start with a sum of money. You will need to use some of it if you don't have the needed equipment for missions. As you loot, your looted items have a value and you can see which items are worth more than others. But don't just get the high value items, as any item you get has a purpose. Operations has many different layers to it. There are still things I haven't figured out yet, but I'm excited to learn. I would say that Operations is less hectic than Warfare mode, but once you see another player or they start firing at you, the adrenaline kicks in hard. because if you lose everything. So these battles are intense and I've had my fair share of them so far. Luckily, most have been successful at this point. What I think is brilliant about Operations is that during your initial games you will face bots, and as you gain experience the game will slowly add a player and later on players based on skill-based matchmaking. This is to give you a chance to ease into the game. How cool is that? The final game mode on Delta Force is Black Hawk Down. It is the campaign mode in Delta Force. It's single player only and it is inspired by the 2001 film and the original 2003 game. I have to be honest when I say that this to me is where Delta Force loses its rating. Not because of the graphics or the missions, but simply because the controls on my PS5 felt impossible to deal with. I went into the settings multiple times to try and get it better, but nothing was working. It was nearly impossible to shoot on target and I was getting wasted. After trying to play for an hour, I decided to quit. I was getting frustrated and it's only a game, so it's not worth it. I also generally don't enjoy campaign modes, so my motivation to push through the struggle diminished quickly. If you prefer playing game modes over online gaming, then perhaps Delta Force is not the best option for you, although perhaps it is much better on PC. If there are any PC gamers watching that played the Black Hawk Down mode, comment below if you also had the same control and aiming struggles. Maybe it's only on console where it's a problem, but in terms of the missions and how warfare looked like, it looked awesome. Overall, I think Delta Force is a great game and it's a great alternative to games like Call of Duty. All the online game modes are super fun to play. Operations is just a great game mode. The preparation that goes before a mission, the risk of losing everything keeps the adrenaline high, and facing other players and the chance of taking their equipment and loot makes it very exciting. It's a game that's been thought out carefully, where progression is based on many different performance factors, not just eliminations. It is still a game that's dominated by PC players. I'd love for the console community to get more involved. I've only seen a handful of console players so far. I think as a crossover game from PC to console, Delta Force did an amazing job. I'm very happy that the developers decided to bring it to console. It's honestly a super fun game to play and I actually can't wait for opportunities to play the game in my free time. I really think other console players will enjoy Delta Force as much as I do. The name just needs to get out there more and it will be a hit. Overall, I'd give the game at least a 4-star rating. Is it worth it for you to invest your time into it? I'd say definitely. Thanks for watching my video. I hope to see you on Delta Force, either as my teammate or my enemy, as long as I see you there. Take care everyone and happy gaming.
Objective Bravo 2 is under attack.